gonna go puke again? We spent a long while talking about whatever came to our minds. Most of it was meaningless conversation, but
I do like... See... I think one of the things...
I like her character development!
No, hang on.
I love that!
I mean, yeah, I do. But I think the one thing that this game is doing that the other games... Not to their games... Let me finish. Not to their discredit, but the thing that they're doing this is actually letting the kids fucking act like teenagers in the scenario that they're given. In Goodbye Despair, most of it is them going to a different scene entirely, looking over the scene and figuring out what to do in order to try to leave. Which, you know, that's in every game. But the few times they ever have scenes are fan service moments or plot relevant moments. They never just sit down and just have a conversation. In the first game, also didn't. The only time that ever happened was the plot device Sayaka to try to get with Makoto to set up the entire game.
This game also, unlike the other games, is revealing everyone's stories in a very paced, elegant manner that allows you to get more out of it and invested because it's happening over a long period of time. In the first game, they revealed Chihiro's story after the death, in the middle of the trial for like 10 seconds, specifically for the point of solving the case.
Well, they did that to Kyo too.
We didn't talk to Kyo though, so we didn't get those moments.
But the thing is,
if you interact with the people who you're interacting,
but Joe, the thing
slowly develops.
I think what you're also trying to get at is that this is happening in canon. This is actually happening during the story rather than the free time segments, which are excess parts. So they're actually getting to know the characters more.
I didn't really care about Maki to begin with. Now I love her
none
character.
of us. None. You, Rob, PJ, me, you. Wait.
You, Rob, PJ, me,
None of any of us cared about Maki until we figured out she was an assassin, which I guess we're all sluts for that.
Even then, I didn't care as much, but now that the story element is being revealed...
As to why she was the caregiver, in quotes,
also
to begin with.
the whole backstory of her existence. And she's opened up, and it's a great character arc. Like, her entire... That means they're gonna kill her now, because it's so great.
Joe, just turn your detective brain off for a second.
That's not something I can do.
Turn your detective brain off for a second and just enjoy this as a moment.
I was doing that until my detective brain turned on.
Just keep it off until the trial.
Detective mode off. Anyway, it might have been the first time I was able to actually have fun and forget this.
Yeah, that's also the hugest part, is you're fucking having fun with the character interactions. Which I could say this has over to Goodbye Despair.
The reason they can do this is because there's no manga they're following. The other two are following a canon that's already been established. This one doesn't follow the canon. So they have a lot more freedom to do this stuff.
Well, as far as we know, it's not canon.
The first game is literally the manga. If you read the first game's manga, you literally have the entire game's plot spelled out to you.
Same with the anime adaptation.
Yeah. And if you... I'm pretty sure... Is there a manga for the second game?
I have no idea.
Because if there is, it's probably the exact same thing as the second game. Just a book. Whereas this one doesn't have that limiting factor. So they have all this free space to do this.
Well, the thing is, Goodbye Despair also had the benefit. Goodbye Despair also had the benefit of expanding upon what happened in the first game.
Yeah.
And expanding what they could do with subverting quote-unquote cliches made by the first game. And this game is doing the same with Goodbye Despair, to an extent.
But that game still didn't have a lot of freedom. It was rushed to get to a certain ending. This game, there's not nearly as much of a rush. second game kind of dragged the story on and on and on. It took us 3 episodes to get, or no, how many episodes to get to the first goddamn case?
I mean, in Goodbye Despair it took 6. In this game it took 7.
But they're not.
Or actually, no,
it may have taken 5. It may have taken longer, but there was no need to rush it. And then after,
well, it's also because there's
more of these moments, so it doesn't feel like much empty space of nothing. Except
I mean, also
that's not that they're not.
There's no it out right now. There's technically no real why we're in the middle of a video. I don't know why we're talking about this now, but I guess
because it was this scene that set it up.
Kaito's getting to us, and we're just talking about the game, whatever came to our minds. Literally,
yeah.
I guess.
I mean, my point is the other game, while it had these long drawn out periods of free time, there was no substance, and then the only reason it moved was because plot. This is in the middle of that long space, but it's not plot. It's story. It's real life.
Wait. It's not plot. It's story.
Well, it's story that builds on the characters, not the...
You need to stop spitting. You actually almost spat in my mouth. I felt that on my lip.
Sorry. It's story, but it's not plot-related story. It's story that's expanding the characters themselves.
It's more character building than setting up a story.
Whereas the free time before was just kind of like a way to move towards the next plot point.
True.
In this one, you're building these characters as you go.
True, but they're also sacrificing a lot of character development for other characters that, for lack of a better term, Angie was very one note because of it. I feel
you also didn't talk to Angie. I wonder.
We talked to her once.
I wonder if you talked to her a lot before the cult.
We get to figure out why she follows Atua.
I wonder though, if you talk to her a lot before the cult forms, if you join the cult side.
I don't see.
Or you're more.
I don't think that's what happens.
Or you're less resistant to the cult's ideas.
I don't think so. I think what Shuichi in that scenario would probably be able, I guess, in the back of his head, be able to relate to why Angie thought of the things she did about
he'd be more,
Atua.
I don't think he'd be more understanding.
I don't think it would affect the story at all.
You never know. You will never know.
I don't think it would affect the story, because if it's how Danganronpa always goes, it's the story goes first, and then all of the extra character tidbits are outside of the story's plot relevance.
Anyway, let's continue.
Unless the plot relevance affects the character interactions.
Let's get back to this moment that we ruined.
We didn't ruin it. We were literally following what Kaito said.
Yeah.
We were doing what Kaito fucking said.
Yeah, just talk about whatever was on our minds.
We spent a long while talking about whatever came to our minds. And what came to our mind, and the music and the scene just fit.
Yep. There's your thumbnail, by the way. You should make that thumbnail. That's a great thumbnail picture.
I honestly believe
I want that picture for, my phone or some shit. That's a cool picture.
I honestly believe...
It's a well-lit scene.
It's also very well drawn. I honestly believe that as far as things are going, they've made every single Danganronpa game has been better than the last.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I really, really loved Goodbye Despair.
I mean, I still have the first one always will have a place.
Then again, we haven't beaten the game yet, but I'm saying so far,
one will always
I'm
have
saying
a
this
place in my heart. I like
the
first one is probably my favorite of the other two. I didn't really like the second
first game has Hina.
So that insta-wins.
No. But
no, I like the first game the best because it set up everything.
Well, yeah, it set up the scene for the entire series.
I didn't like the second game as much simply because it felt too repetitive of the first game. They had a lot they could have done with the island life in between murders, and they literally you have to talk to these people or they're gonna die, and you don't have any chances after that. And if you don't want to talk to them, you're not gonna get to until island mode, and it just shove that down your throat.
I mean, that's in every game.
Yeah, but this game doesn't feel like it because of all these moments.
Not only that, I think it's way better. because there's way better characters for one.
Well,
like, I'm not saying the characters in the I'm not saying the characters in the first game were bad. Like, they were good. They held their own, and I obviously remember each and every one of them, except for fucking Leon. Go fuck himself.
In my opinion, I liked the first game's characters, and this game's characters kind of feel like almost a refresh of that. They feel
less tropey.
Yes,
like that's really.
But the first game wasn't tropey either. The second game,
no, there were some.
Not as much as the second game. The second game had a lot of tropies.
Oh, dude, fucking half of the characters were tropes.
Yeah,
but they were more because of the fact that they were tropes. They were able to become way more fucking comedic with that, and I didn't like it as loved it.
I didn't like it as much. I liked the first
plus the character designs
characters
are all
because
better.
They were less tropey and you could relate to them better.
I mean, yeah, they see. I think
I like being able to relate to the characters more so than the comedic.
I mean, there's still relatability. There's still relatability.
I couldn't relate to the characters as much in the second game.
I could relate.
Even Hajime.
I know that I could relate to. I could relate to
Hajime,
both Ibuki and Chiaki, not just because of their ultimates, but because of their personalities and because of like just what they go through on a daily basis.
The only characters I could really relate to in the second game were Hajime and Chiaki, not because of ultimates again, because of the personalities that they had, especially when combined with the anime.
Honestly, I mean I honestly love Goodbye Despair more than the first game because there was a lot more plot twists, and again, a lot of times you don't with Phoenix Wright.
I played both games.
I know you could fucking expect it, but I'm saying
no. It's not that I expected it. The first time I played each game, I liked the plot.
I'm just saying what they throw unexpected. That's you. You can enjoy the first game more. That's fine. I'm just saying why I like the second game more is that they throw a lot more at you that, as a first-time player, I didn't expect, and I could usually predict a lot of shit. I played lots of Phoenix Wright.
I found the second game very predictable compared to the first, especially when they started doing. They did it with this game too, with how the murders occurred and such.
I think that's just a Danganronpa thing.
But I mean,
I don't think it's just the second and third game.
Once I picked up on that pattern, the second game got really boring. Because I didn't really feel for any of the characters the same. I couldn't relate to them as much, so I was less attached to them. So when I started seeing the patterns, I was like, well, okay, so I just kind of was like, alright, who's gonna go next? And then who did it? It was more about producing plot than interacting, and that takes a lot out of the game if you get rid of the interaction part being important. The free time was meaningless to me almost.
Well,
not when I was playing with you, by myself.
No, I get that, because it does seem like kind of a slog, especially if you're doing it for the first time.
And especially concerned I couldn't relate to. You related to a lot more of those characters than I did.
Yeah.
So it was less of a slog for you. I also had 4 people you were trying to max out. I had 2. I maxed them out, and I was like, well, now what do I do during free time? I don't really need to
no, it's because I love their character designs and their personalities, and they all just happen to be my favorite kinds of people. And the thing is that at least with this game, I basically 100% of my favorite non-waifu girl, but they have a lot, at least this is the first game where I can say I'm actually rooting for the guys as well. Fucking almost every single guy I actually like in this game.
I liked Byakuya in the first game. He was one of my favorite.
Oh, I fucking hated him.
I hated some of the things he did.
See, at least with Kokichi, I love to hate Kokichi.
That was what happened with me. I loved hating the things he did, but he's kind of like that villain guy who you're like, that is so cool, that regardless of me hating the character, I loved it from
I can see why.
The character nerd in me that loves character development loved that. I hated it for that. I loved it because I hated it. It's kind of like when you meet that villain in a video game, you're like, I hate you because you're the villain, but I love your character.
Yeah. No, I can see why you'd think that. Honestly,
I liked him, Makoto, because he's protagonist, and I liked this character because he was like just. He was so naive about it,
dude.
But
Makoto's
he also kind of knew it.
Makoto is adorable, and I grew to like him over the course of the series.
Because detective,
but yeah,
and detective brain.
I did like Kyoko though. I didn't like her as much as Hina, but Hina's appreciation.
Hina's character.
Her plot relevance is like little to none, and even in the anime, even in fucking at the end of Hope's Peak Academy, she has very little plot relevance except to help Kyoko keep Makoto fucking hopeful for the rest of everything.
Yeah, but I did like her character because she was so upbeat and energetic.
Yeah,
but that's about all. I mean, I liked her character, but not for the same reasons you did. Unless that was the reason you liked it. She wasn't my favorite.
Plus her personality at some points is just donuts.
Oh yeah, I love donuts too.
I mean, I love it, but I can see why if people find that annoying or
liked
dumb.
Celeste's character design. I didn't really like what they did with it.
Oh, she was an asshole.
No, I didn't like what they did with it because she didn't have any fleshed out story at all. And even if you talked to her, there was only like very little bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, and she was trying to hide her past.
I didn't like that they did that, but that's just because I love character development.
Yeah, it makes sense why she did that.
And they could have done so much with it. I liked Chihiro's story. I didn't like.
I like how Chihiro.
I didn't like it because there was a lot of like her early backstory of the bullying and all that. I related way too much to that, and I didn't like that I related so much to that.
That means that you can relate to the characters, which makes them more likable.
It made it less likable because I was like, that's too real for me right now. I liked it in the end, but like at first I was like, no, just no.
I like how Chihiro's just basically transcends the series so far.
Oh yeah.
So far, at least
anyway, we've been going for like 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm snipping this part out as its own thing.
Good.
Like that, it'll be its own thing because again, the game is good enough to do this.
The first game, I liked it more than the second game because, well, first off the patterns, but also because it was the first game. It set the stage for everything else that happens.
Oh yeah.
It introduced the entire concept. And while it didn't have some of those annoying ass mini games. I don't really like.
They did have annoying mini games. They were a lot less annoying.
I didn't find any of the mini games in the first one that bad.
What did they have again? They had the
non-stop debate.
Hangman's Gambit.
They had Hangman's Gambit. They had.
It was a PTA. It wasn't PTA. It was called
There was not Logic Dive. That was like the only two. There were only like two in that one.
It wasn't called PTA.
It was called something else.
It was called something else.
But it's basically PTA.
I know they didn't have as many as they have in this game, or even in Goodbye Despair.
Well, this one has like fucking 8. If you count debate scrums, non-stop debates, Hangman's Gambit,
Mass Panic debates,
Mass Panic, Taxi,
and Manic Mine.
Manic Mine, and
that's it.
Lying.
Oh, and fucking Rebuttal Showdown.
That was also not in the first one.
There's
8. If you count Lying as its own game.
Lying
is technically a mini game inside of the non-stop debates. Because you still have to use that tactically.
You're right. Alright, so
anyway.
Do you want us to continue or?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm
because otherwise you have like a fucking 18-minute episode.
No. Yeah, no, hang on. I'm just gonna treat it like its own thing, so good job, Kaito.